This is Festival Sounds. Hey, Bilal.
Hey, Tilly.
What are we talking about today?
We've got another secret guest. You remember last year we got Secret Glasto?
Yeah, top secret Glasto. Amazing.
Didn't know who the person was. This time round, we've got a anonymous celebrity type person.
A festival VIP, I would dare to say.
It's the Glasto Thingy.
Ooh, excited.
Now, for those of you who don't know what the Glasto Thingy is, it's this amazing resource of information about when posters drop, when lineups are announced, when ticket sales are. It's got all of that information in there. So we are going to ask when the Thingy thinks Glastonbury poster drop will happen.
Oh, so exciting.
And his answer is as cryptic as his description.
I can't wait to hear him speak about the Glastonbury-shaped hole. I mean, it's iconic.
He's a clued up guy. He knows what's going on the festival circuit. Really interesting guest. We've just finished recording with him. I love the chat. Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. And you know me, I love a classic festival dickhead. And we do have another one for you today. And the answer may surprise you.
This is Festival Sounds, and we're very, very pleased to introduce to you a special guest, the Glasto Thingy.
Welcome.
Hello, and thank you for inviting me onto this. It's something I always enjoy, so it's listening to, so I'm pleased to be here.
You were the first person that I referred to as a friend of the podcast, and we're very grateful for the support you've always given us. But also, when our listeners have been downloading our episodes, hearing us talk about you, they might not know what the Glastonbury Thingy is. Can you explain that for us?
I can. I won't go into the history of it yet, but I will say what basically I do now, and probably what I'm best known for, or the Thingy is best known for, is social media account, mainly on the dreaded Twitter, where I post, and the intention from when I started was to post on this day. So I have a website that records all the Glastonbury announcements that have ever been made since 2000. Before that, they put adverts in newspapers, so it's that was about as far back as I could get. And I will say, such as today, on this day, the day we're recording this in 2017, Foo Fighters were announced as a headliner. So that was the idea where I started with, but I sort of expanded on it and will, go with rumours, where there's tour dates, where there's means there's the possibility someone could be playing, the old Glastonbury shape hole, hashtag GSH that I put out there. So we got them stupid memes, jokes, things like that. So it started just as, something to pass the time, as it were, and it took off from there and now got, quite a few sort of followers on there.
If you're into Glastonbury, it's one of those must-follow accounts.
I think I found it ahead of my first ever Glastonbury in 2019. I think I probably just searched Glastonbury on Twitter, and I was like, this is so helpful. Like, I remember you were posting about rumours and like who might be there, who definitely is there, and I remember being like, this is so amazing, this is so helpful.
No, it's good. I enjoy it. It seems a bit daft, I'm a man of a certain age, shall we say. So, as far as hobbies go, it's an unusual one, but I love talking about Glastonbury. I love reading about it, so it's just something that sort of expands on that whole thing where, every day there's something to go on and talk about, apart from probably in July and August when it's all over for another year and no one's talking about rumours. There's, they've moved the sale date back to October, so there's nothing to talk about then. The rest of the year, every day there's something.
You occupy a place of the internet, a little corner of the internet that we do as well, which is trying to keep the festival spirit alive all year round. And there's something quite nice when you go onto social media to see images of last summer and start predicting what's going to happen next summer. GSH, Glasto Shaped Hole, I don't know. Did you coin that?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's one of those, I can't remember exactly where that came from. But I think the GSH, maybe, I don't know. But the Glastonbury shaped hole, I think people have probably been saying for a while. But it's one of them that just sort of run with it. And
you're very good at just saying, hey, look, this is not going to happen because, getting from Somerset to Frankfurt in a day is probably too much for the size of production that they are. And it's quite a nice way to just set expectations. I love seeing whether they've got a Glastonbury shaped hole or not.
It makes things so exciting. You're like, oh, they could be there. They might not. They might surprise us.
If I'd reshared one of your posts, Mr. Thingy. May I call you Mr. Thingy?
You may. You don't need to apply the Mr.
I think it should be Sir. I think it should be Sir Thingy. A knighthood definitely on the books.
Oh, yeah.
The Thingy, or Glastonbury Thingy to give you the full title. Is it Tate McCrae? She has got some momentum behind her at the moment. You're starting to see her show up in different places. And I can't remember whether you posted whether there was a Glastonbury shaped hole or not. But that was one that caught my attention this weekend because, songs start to get pushed. If you ask Apple or Spotify to just shuffle a playlist for you, there's almost a nudge towards certain artists, and she's one that's been showing up on my playlist.
Yeah. And it's one that does sort of look likely because she's got a tour with dates in the UK, then she goes off somewhere else, and then she's randomly at the end of June added more UK dates. So part of it could be, well, why is she doing that? Why is she coming back to the country? Could just be to make more money and have absolutely nothing to do with Glastonbury. But she may be, and that's the whole thing. Just because you put it on there, there's very much a good chance that they're not going to turn up. That happens a lot. And there's some artists every year they seem to be touring around Glastonbury and they never turn up. There's a lot more money to be made elsewhere. And I think that's part of why some of them never turn up.
I bet there's a lot as well that are there at Glastonbury, but not necessarily performing. They're just going because they like being there, and you're like, "Damn, so close!" You're like, "I nearly got it right."
just taking the weekend off, going
just
there.
having a nice holiday.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there are people there that do it. Who's it? Someone who used to dress up in one of those all-in-one onesie type things with the head covered and everything and wander around. I can't remember, but some famous person saying they do that so they're not recognised. They'll just walk around dressed as Spider-Man or something.
That's amazing.
It's like Daniel Craig's cameo in Star Wars where he was a stormtrooper. I've seen a lot of pictures of celebrities after the event, and unless you were an absolute fan of that celebrity, you wouldn't know. Sunglasses, baseball cap.
Even that's it, isn't it? Yeah, it's the right time of year for it, I guess, isn't it? As you say, the hat, the glasses, yeah.
Yeah, and also you're massively distracted by the amazing festival.
Yeah, there is that.
Now, on that, and this is my somewhat slick segue, on that, why do you do the Thingy? When did you fall in love with the Glastonbury Festival?
Okay, so I was kind of a late comer to Glastonbury, and I used to go to other festivals years and years ago, but the lineup never really appealed to me. I had a certain taste in music when I was younger. I'd look at Glastonbury and think, oh, I wouldn't mind that, looks okay. And then Level 42 would headline, or UB42, I'm not going to that. So I used to go to Donington and Reading and things like that. Got older, kids and what have you. And round about 2008 or 9, I started dipping my toe back in the festival pool, as it were, going to a few little ones and watching Glastonbury on the TV, thinking, oh, that looks really good. I'd like to go to that, but never thought I would. Then one day I'm in the pub with my mate and his missus, and they say, oh, we've got Glastonbury tickets. I'm like, what? Why didn't you tell me? I want to go. But apparently they were a gift off her sister. So, no surprise. So in the resale for 2010, that was when I got my first Glastonbury ticket. So, as I say, late for me. Tilly's probably going, oh, I was 4. What do you mean late? That was a lifetime away.
You can tell he's listened to the episodes. And any opportunity you get, Tilly, to roast someone on their age.
I can't lie. I literally was like, yeah, I would have been 9. I don't know why is that my first thought? I don't know. I'm so sorry.
It's going to creep up on you, Tilly, one day. Just wait for that to happen.
It's just automatic. Like, someone says a date, I'm like, I was 4. Like, I don't know. It just comes out.
Everyone has that moment where they're not the youngest one in the office, and I cannot wait for you to get your moment.
It will happen. It will come to us all. Oh, so, yeah, dear. 2010. Yeah.
So 2010, yes, talking about Glastonbury. Was that a good year, rainy year? It was before I was going.
That was the weather was incredible 2010. It was just wall-to-wall sunshine. People complained it was too hot. One of those years.
Oh, I love that.
I remember on the Sunday a small cloud going in front of the sun in the Pyramid Field and everyone cheered. It was roasted. Came home thinking, look at my tan, it's amazing. Got in the shower, it was just dust, it just came off. But the weather was amazing, the lineup. U2 had dropped out, so that was the big one that I wanted to see, but they dropped out. But some of my favourite acts were on. It was just, that was it. From that day, that was it. I was smitten with it, and lucky enough, I've managed to get tickets to everyone since then. So I've been really lucky. What
was your standout performance that year?
The Hold Steady are my favourite band, and they were on Airlie on the Pyramid, and it doesn't matter, they could be playing anywhere and everyone's going, who? But in fact, I'm going to go and see them again in London in a couple of weeks. But yeah, they were on, and they're my favourites.
And what was the magic that made you want to go back?
Just the sheer size of the place. You can just wander from, stage to stage, and, it's going to take you half an hour to get from John Peel to the other side over to Avalon or whatever. But you do it. There's so much variety, the different types of music. Cabaret Field, Theatre and Circus is amazing. I love it in Cabaret Field. I think that's one of the things that makes it different to other festivals. I always put some time to just walk slowly through the field and watch all the walkabout acts. Love it there. Time in the cabaret tent, comedy acts, to the massive things. I mean, my favourite ever gig is the Stones at Glastonbury on the Pyramid stage. So you don't get much bigger than that. So I love the big act. When it all comes together, you're big. One of your favourite acts on the Pyramid stage, the crowd is up for it, the weather's great, that can't be beaten. But then at the same time, you'll go and watch some really weird stuff in a little tent somewhere and go, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. How am I going to explain this to someone?
Like, no one's going to believe this.
No one's going to. You wouldn't believe what that woman was doing with a recorder. But it was a very impressive way to play Three Blind Mice. That was one of the strangest things I've seen. So there's all that sort of stuff that goes on, and I was talking to someone about it the other day and saying, I sort of think maybe I overplay it. Maybe you cheer and thinking, I'm just remembering all the good stuff and what have you. And then you go back, and within a few hours, your tent's been set up. You go for that first walk on Wednesday afternoon. You're like, yeah, it's brilliant. There's nowhere like it. It's just amazing.
I take a big intake of air when I get through the gate, and I do feel like, I'm home. There's a weird feeling.
I'm about to roast you, Bill, because I'm like, you don't take a deep breath. You take a bottle of champagne. That's what you take.
I wondered what that smirk was. It was like, what has she got in the barrel ready to say?
I thought you were going to say, as soon as I've set up the tent, I sit down, I take a deep breath. No, let's not lie. You drink some champagne.
That is also
that is true. But yeah,
first drink is when the once the airbed's been pumped up. As you're pumping up the airbed, that's when I can have the first drink, but not before then.
I like it.
I love those routines, those little ways that people build up to the festival, and it just works for them. I love that. And so for you, is it the tent, everything's set, and then I've earned my first drink?
Tent's up, or once you get to the tent's done, we're in position, everything's there, we've met everyone else in camp, hopefully we've got a space to put the tent up, depending on how quickly we've got there. All the sweaty hugs have happened, because you're meeting someone who's just been carrying a backpack for 2 hours, at least. Then, start pumping up the air. I've now finally got a little pump, so I don't have to do it manually anymore. Plug in my manual airbed pump and then crack open a can. That's it. Away we go.
And that cacophony of sound of airbeds going up around the field.
I know exactly what you mean.
But it's something you only know when you've been. But I don't know how there's a pleasant energy in that sound, because in everyday life, it would annoy the hell out of you. But there, you're like, we're all in it together.
Yeah, because up until that point, it's quite stressful, isn't it? Getting in. I know when you've been doing the volunteering and things, you're in early and stuff like that, then that's great. But the day queuing up and that gate A queue this year was horrific. Hours and hours to get through. You've got mates going, we need to get to camp, we need to hold space. People are coming all in different gates, off coaches. They're arriving after you, but getting in before you. And it's like, and so it's all quite stressy, I think, until you've got to that point, and that's it. That is when you go, that's it, relax, you're ready now.
For this year's festival, how did you get there? Are you car, bus? What's your...
Go car. I go. My two sons come with me. They're not little kids. They're now. I always said they couldn't come till they're old enough to carry their own beer. So
Nice.
The youngest one's been coming for a couple of years now. So they'll be 21 and 27 this year. The three of us go down. We actually drive down Tuesday night, but we don't join the queue. I'm not that mad, but maybe one year. But we sleep in the car. Try to. We'll get there. Set up the chairs, have a few beers, try to get some sleep, and then get up 5:30, get in the queue, try and do then. So that's it, get in the queue, dragging all our stuff through. I'm part of quite a big camping group that met as solo campers back in 2014, again through e-festivals. We'd people who are going on their own arranged to go together, and we are now 11 years later, and a lot of us still meet up, still go together, that we all get our tickets as one big spreadsheet, or that it's all done through that. So we see them, and that's where we go. So it's dragging your stuff in and trying to get that space. Hopefully someone's in there quick to hold as much space as they can, fill it up with our tents, and that's it, we're off.
And for people going solo, e-festivals, if you spend some time engaging on the forum, they run a meet on the Wednesday, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
So you can just show up, meet some people who you might get on with, you might not. It's a way of, if you are a solo Glastonbury goer, just to have a pleasant conversation, maybe find someone who might be at the same gig as you. You don't have to spend the whole festival with them. And I know a lot of people from e-festivals, and God knows I don't want to spend a lot of time with them. And they're probably listening and going to murder me for this. But the odd gig or so, I'll spend with them. And because they're adorable people. If you're there by yourself, just a bit of company makes a festival a little more enjoyable, I think.
And I've done it completely on my own before I was part of this group as well. The second year I went, we couldn't get tickets in the main sale. We got to the resale. All that was left were coach tickets, because they used to sell them all at once. So it wasn't a separate coach sale. So the coach tickets were always what was left at the end, because everyone wanted to go by car otherwise. And then there was these, and my mate didn't want to go on the coach, so I said I'll go, and they got me one, and I went on my own. And that year I didn't camp with or meet with anyone, but I just set up my tent and chatted to people around me. It's that plucking up the courage to have a conversation. But once you get past that, everyone I don't think I've ever spoken to any idiots, but it's just someone to have a chat in the morning before you head off. And especially in a big crowd, that's a good place to talk to people. When you're waiting for the act to come up, have a chat to people then.
Oh, absolutely. We adopted someone, didn't we, Tilly? I can't remember the lady's name.
We have many times, to be honest.
That's true. But we were forming a fairly big group at the Oxfield that year, and she came over and said, "I don't know anyone. Can I come camp with you?" Oh, and poor lady, the next thing, she's up at the Glastonbury sign. We're handing a load of cocktail tins to her. Get these down, you love. And she was indoctrinated into our group.
Going on your own is a way where you see so much more, because there's no waiting about for anyone at all. There's no sort of compromises. Not that we do that. I would say me with me mates, with me kids. If we want to see someone, we'll go and see them. Well, I'll see you later. There's none of that. Oh, I want to see them, but I'll come with you. We don't do that. That's just go and see your thing. But the years I've been on my own, it was just that 2011. I saw so much. It was you're up and you're around, and it's just non-stop, because there's no one needing a wee apart from you. There's no one who needs to go and get a burger. It's just, you just do whatever you want to do. And it can be a really good way to see the festival.
I think, Bilal, you're very good at that as well. I think it was maybe the last Glastonbury. I woke up, and usually I can hear snoring from Bilal's tent, but I couldn't on this one morning. And I was like, oh, I wonder where he is. And I look at my phone, and there's a text from you being like, I think maybe it wasn't at Glastonbury, it was somewhere. And you were like, oh, just like in some strange tent with a Pimm's and a cucumber sandwich. I was like, well, of course you are. Of course you are.
Those little corners that you find that serve pims and cucumber sandwiches are where you will find me, and that's what I find makes a festival. I've seen a tweet from Emily Evis, the organizer of Glastonbury Festival, that said, "I knew you would know." Because can you explain how Emily Evis is putting you on that level, which clearly you are?
I know the one you're referring to, and I have that as pinned on my possibly on my Twitter picture, but also on the website. There's a picture of that tweet on. That was the first I realised that they knew who or had heard of me, because I sort of always put answers, especially as I was trying to build up a following. They would say, "Oh, here's our poster," and I put something underneath. "Oh, this is the third earliest time that this artist has been announced," or something stupid like that. And they, I can't remember who it was. It might have been anyway. I can't remember who it was, but it was a Sunday, and they announced an act on a Sunday, and it was quite late. And I put something like, "Oh, Sunday, keeping us on our toes." And she responded and said, "Oh, it's got to be the first, right?" And I went back and said, "Well, actually, it's the 6th. And she's like, "Oh, I knew you'd have the stats." And then I'm like, "Oh God, what have I done?"
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So it was, so that's probably because I just pester them that they know of me. But I have had something from them, and I know they just like a message from them, so I know they sort of appreciate what I do.
How did you feel when you saw that tweet?
I was made up. I mean, again, I'm thinking, God, how old am I? And I'm getting all giddy because some woman who runs a festival tweeted me. But yeah, you just sort of felt like, I know sometimes this is all a bit daft, but it made it feel worthwhile.
And what got you doing the thingy? What keeps you going as well to do it for all these years? Got me doing it was boredom, to be honest. So I'll give you a bit of a history of the thingy then. So it started, and it was nothing to do with me. It started back probably about, I think it was 2012 or 13, something like that, again on e-festivals. So people would join the forum, and nearly always the first question is, when does the lineup come out? And someone did a list of about the previous 4 or 5 festivals. So then they could never find where they put this list, because they kept losing it, because it was just on a post on the website. So then the question would come up, when's the lineup come out? And then the response would nearly always be, "Oh, where's the thingy?" And that, from Where's the Thingy, it then developed, someone actually created a blog on the site and called it the Glasto Thingy. Okay. And it would still be Where's the Thingy, because you could never find the blog section of e-festivals unless you go back to the front page and into another page. So it was still Where's the Thingy, and that's where it sort of came from. Then after a few years, someone said, "Well, why doesn't someone make its own website?" At the time, I was working away from home a lot, doing stuff with work, and I was bored in the hotel room, and I sort of took it on and created the first actual thingy website. So I went back through loads of all the official announcements I could find on the official Glastonbury website, and loads of news things on the festivals, and took it back then from, I think it used to go back to 2008, and now it goes back to 2000, filled it out with other stuff. Other people jumped in and helped me and said, "Oh, here's one you've missed." Added a lot of things, expanded it to when the resales are, when, all the extra information, balance deadline dates, just filled it out with that. So that was the website. Early 2016, I think it was. I was working away from home again. And I don't know why I did it. I just thought, I'll make a Twitter account with it. And that's what I did. So, and it was just going to be on this day, something to do. And I thought, maybe the people off e-festivals might follow it, might get 100 followers or something, but it just kept going up and up and up, and I started doing it more and more often, and now, I don't know, maybe it's an addiction, maybe I need help.
It's not an addiction if people love it.
It's an amazing resource. I use it all the time. I've said to people, "Oh, check the thingy," and one of the times is when there's speculation, "Oh, there must be a lineup drop," and I say to people, "Well, check the thingy." I'm going to ask now, and sorry to put you on the spot. When is the Glastonbury lineup poster going to drop?
As you know, there is no pattern. I have to say that.
I knew you were going to say that.
But going off the past few years, it's been. I think Emily actually said in an interview last year that it wouldn't be till they can't do it till March because of various contractual things. Acts are trying to sell their own gigs; they don't want to be there. So so many thousand people who are at Glastonbury going, I'm not going to buy a ticket for them now. Which, funnily enough, I've just done with someone who's playing another festival. I was going to buy a ticket, saw they're playing a festival I'm going to. I thought, I won't bother with the ticket now because I was like about whether or not to go. So they don't bring it out till then. It's been round about, I can't remember the exact dates, sort of second week. So I would expect it to be the 13th or 14th of March. But who knows? They could bring it out the 1st of March. They might blow that whole pattern thing out completely, and it would be sometime in next week. I don't know.
And who knows, because there is no pattern and random things do happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, last year it felt like last year, and again with the rumours. People never know for sure. Some people may know, others may well be in on the inside information to say this is going to happen, this person's playing, and it may well be correct at the time that they're given it, but then things fall through. It looks like last year at least one act fell through, if not two, which is how Scissor ended up headlining, but that's besides the point. You don't know for sure until it comes out. I mean, look what's happened with Neil Young, which is really funny in a way, because I love Neil Young. He's just nuts. He'll do what he wants when he wants to, as he's shown. And the poor Emily and the others at the festival, New Year's Eve, he says, I'm not going to play Glastonbury now. And like, we haven't even announced him, and he's saying he's not doing it now.
I love how he did that on his own blog as well. Like he was like, this isn't something for everyone to know. This is just something for my blog.
Yeah, just for people to do, yeah.
I retweeted that blog and what he had said, because guess who broke the news to me?
Who?
The Glasto Thingy did.
The Glasto Thingy.
The Glasto Thingy had posted that this is what's on Neil Young's blog, right? That's quite an obscure place to find information, but the moment it happened, or within minutes of it happening, you had posted about it, and then I retweeted your post, or maybe put an article on our website, festivalsounds.co.uk. We've got an FAQ on there as well. But that you broke that largely to the festival community, because we're all following you. And so when you said that, we all, head in hands, oh my God, this is crazy. Because how did it get addressed? Emily Evis posting a picture of a fence post saying, oh, and Neil Young's playing, by the way. Surprise!
Yeah. He does what he likes. We love him for it. And he is playing now. Yeah. But I get, because I've built up that following, I get a lot of stuff. People will send it to me or tag me in things. So, much as it must seem, and I possibly am spending way too much time on the internet, but it will be someone has told me. It's like with a lot of the rumours and things. I don't have any... I don't have much inside information, nothing direct from the festivals. I have a few people who contact me about smaller bands and things like that, and I may find that, but most of the stuff I get is through people either DMing me, tagging me in, stuff on e-festivals, stuff on the youth Discord. They are very good at rumours and keeping up on there. That's a good place for that. So it's generally, I've just read it somewhere else. I can't take the credit for it. I get the odd one that I see myself, but not much.
Had you heard about Neil Young before he said he was going to play? Did you think he was? Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those, when it was first mentioned and someone said they've heard Neil Young's going to do it, you're like, oh, it's too good. For me, he's a dream headliner. So it was like, oh, I'm not going to listen too much because he's going to disappoint me. And then the first we hear from is, I'm not playing it now. And I'm like, you hadn't even said you were.
Like, but, I was right all along.
But then he's back again. So I'm absolutely made up with it. So he's headlining one day. I don't care who the other two are now. I've got my headliner. I like, if I can, one pyramid headliner a year is good. Some years there's no one I want to see. Like last year there was no one I wanted to see, but I did watch one. But yeah, that's me. My festival's sorted now. Whatever else happens is just a bonus. Yeah,
do you think that over the past couple of years, has it become easier or harder to predict headliners? Have you got more sources, or is it just a guessing game?
I probably get more, but I don't tend to get that level. I'll read it on other places. I'll get, I won't say the names of the bands or anything because someone might figure out who it was, but I'll hear bits about someone who's playing halfway through the day on Woodseas or something like that. So I get little bits of information, but none of the big scoops. Generally, someone has given me a nudge or read it on eFestivals or the Youth Discord.
And for our listeners, by the way, we'll post a link to eFestivals, and I don't think I can post a link to the Discord because I'm not on it anymore. But if I can find a way to link to it, I'll figure it out and put it in the show notes.
Yeah. Or if not, maybe they can, if you're putting this out on Blue Sky or whatever, they can put something underneath, or I will. I'll see if we can do something.
Yeah, I'll tag them in. We'll find them on Blue Sky because it is an amazing resource. The only reason I came off the Discord was there was so much information on there. I couldn't keep up, and I felt bad because if you're on those forums, you should be contributing. I don't like being just a taker. And because I didn't have time with this, and I do post a little bit on eFestivals, mostly on the volunteering thread, I felt a bit like I was not contributing, so I thought better just to come off. But it is an amazing resource.
There's some really good stuff there. It is difficult to keep up. It's so busy. It's more conversational. So it's like being in, I don't know, a room where people are just walking in and out all the time, but the conversation just keeps going. Whereas on, so you log in, there's about 8,000 messages on there, and they've been discussing whether or not Sabrina is big enough to be headline the other stage or something. And you're like, one, who is she? Two, and it goes on forever. But, yeah, brilliant for the information they have. Whereas eFestival, because of the sort of threaded aspect of it, it's easier to follow and keep up with.
Yeah, it's full of festival fans, so you just get festival chat, which is a nice place to be.
Yeah.
We've been really positive most of this episode. I think we should play the jingle and then ask the thingy, is this person a festival dickhead?
It's the return of Festival Dickhead again. We're on a roll.
It's been lovely having you on the episode, Thingy. I've got two questions. One we'll ask right at the end, and that is, if you could go back to Glastonbury and do it all over again, which one would you go back to? And why? Mm-hmm. That's a question we've had from one of our listeners, Millie. But the other question that we need to get to first is, am I a festival dickhead? And here is the scenario we've been sent. Someone has been asked by their friends to carry a flag into the festival. But there's a catch. The flag is a commercially branded flag. So they've asked, am I a festival dickhead for walking around the festival with a commercially branded flag?
And the answer is, let me give a bit of background first. Before I go straight in. Well, not background, but my thoughts.
Feel free to just give a split second decision.
Oh, okay, split second decision, yes.
Yes. We hardly ever get a no, to be honest.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, I'm sitting at home going, apart from, you had a no last week, or last one I listened to.
We did.
And you might have one out in between, I don't know. But yeah, I was shocked on that one. But flags in general, I really don't mind. I think it does. I know people hate them. You're blocking the view. And sometimes I've been stood there looking and thinking, I can't see a thing. There's a million flags in the way. But I do think it makes something a bit different about Glastonbury. You see any other, as soon as you see a picture, you go, that's Glastonbury, isn't it? Because of the flags. Great. People with their little things they put on, their little funny things, brilliant. If you're one of the God knows how many people carrying an XFM green flag with Chris Moore's head on or some other thing, and you all gather in that one place where the TV camera is the boom arm is going to come around, and you're going to keep coming around and advertising, is it XFM or Radio X these days, whatever it's called, then
It's sad, but we all know what you mean.
Yeah, you may, or you are you a dickhead? Is the person carrying the flag a dickhead? Yeah. Just don't. Just take your own flag. Have something different about it. Or
if you wouldn't carry a flag saying like Bill's landscape and gardening, then don't carry a flag with like radioactive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not just radioactive. You sometimes see other ones. It was at the Foo Fighters. There was someone in front of us kept holding up and it's probably a dad's estate agent sign, and she was at the back of the pit, and the sign was about not much bigger than I don't know A2 or A1 or something size. She kept holding it up, and you're like, "What are you doing?
Who are you trying to target in this moment?"
No one is going to pick the camera. Is not picking that up. Just put it down. So anything where they're using the flag to get a bit of free advertising, I'm not a fan.
Take a slightly opposing view here.
Go on.
From the perspective of the guy who's been asked, if they're going to pay him £400,
pay.
and it's the cost of a festival ticket, is what I'm getting at, then I kind of get it, because if it's the difference between I can go to the festival or I can't, the price you pay is you've got to wave a hideous looking flag. But I kind of get that, because it's a chance to go for free, and that's a lot of beer money.
Right.
That's my different perspective.
But how is that person that's paid you that money going to know that you carried the flag around? You could have just taken a picture of it up at your tent and then just not walk around with it. Just have a free festival.
So keep the money and a level of dignity. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm saying pretend you carry the flag around for the free money, for the free festival ticket. But
I wonder if they have to be at a certain point, because they all seem to gather. Do they have to be there at that point?
Maybe it's like a cult. Maybe we're unlocking some strays.
Because they do. They all congregate in one spot. The bit where I do agree with you is pick where you stand. Because sometimes you're like, they're wafting it in front of the, is it called the boom arm, or the thing the camera person sat on? And I think, well, you're just getting in the way. So that I agree. And also, if you're part of a group of 7 people all carrying the same branding, then yeah, it's really annoying if you're all clustered in one place. So if you are doing it, have some respect for other people around you and what they may be able to see and not see. There's a level of that.
If they're being paid and it's the only way they can get a ticket, great. Yeah. No. As you say, if that's their way in, then I'd do it if I could. If I didn't have a ticket and that was my only way in,
I say I'd do it,
and I'd take it. Yeah. I
say do it, but leave the flag at your tent. Don't be walking around with it.
It's still there at the festival.
It's still there, but at least you're not wafting it in people's faces.
You can see this XFM exec counting on iPlayer, can't you? Why can I only see 4? Where are the rest?
Yeah. Some people off XFM follow me on. I've just remembered. Never mind. You probably, it's fine. If you do follow me and you listen to this.
We're probably giving them more ideas of, they're like, no, we need more flags. We don't need less, we need more.
Yeah, that's the effect that we've had. And we've picked XFM, but, other radio stations are available.
Do they have flags?
I think I haven't made a very persuasive argument here, so I think the decision is it's dickhead, isn't it?
Ding, ding, ding. Dickhead.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyone who's carrying one, but yeah. Dickhead.
Agreed. Agreed.
Okay, and then the final question before you go, because we've kept you for so long and we appreciate all your time and we appreciate having the enigma that is you on here, because it's just a mystery man who does this amazing thing for us all by giving us this kind of repository of information. You clearly love the festival. If you were to be able to go back, this is a question from our listener, Millie. If you were able to go back and relive a festival again, which one would you do and why?
First of all, hi Millie. Millie's great.
Do you know
I've met
Millie?
I've met Millie.
Oh.
I'll leave it at that.
So mysterious.
No, I've met her at the festivals meet. Yeah, it's great. I would not go much further than the one I started at. And purely on the lineup, I would go to 2009. I think the lineup, the three headliners for a start, you had Springsteen, Neil Young, and Blair. That's good enough for, I think, probably the only year I would ever have been at the Pyramid every night. Throughout the bill, when you look back, there was loads of stuff. I probably won't be able to remember anymore, but like specials were on, and and Madness before they went terrible were on, and it was there's a lot of that whole bill. I think the lineup looked amazing, and I'm still kicking myself that I didn't start going a year earlier because that was just looked amazing.
If I could see Springsteen, I'd be there again.
Apparently, people say he wasn't great, but it's one of them.
I would take a Springsteen at 50%, and I would still love it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'd have loved it.
One final question, because I've just come up with one. So we've got your dream past festival to relive. What about dream lineup of let's just say you can have as many Pyramid headliners as you want. You're not limited to 3. What would be your dream lineup?
I mean, that's a difficult one, isn't it? Because I think I've seen the big acts, and would you want them back again? Do you want to repeat the ones that you really wanted to see? Paul McCartney, Stones, as I say, my favourite ever one. Springsteen, I'd love him back because I missed him. Though I've seen him a few times since. I think it's more bands, little bands on the smaller stages throughout the day, and hopefully not clashing with anyone else. Like the Hold Steady, just the greatest band ever in the history of music. If you've never heard them, check them out.
I'll put a link in the show notes.
Hanoi Rocks, get them back together. They reformed last year. Another one, Who, but they were one of my favourites from years ago. But I think I should think of it. Someone who came to me the other day, who would I love to headline who hasn't done it? And I'm not going to remember it now. Springsteen, I'll go with.
Nice.
I'd like you two to come back and have another go because the weather was appalling last time, and I think they could do a much better job. Blair, again, coming back. What's the other ones from 2009? Neil Young's doing it this year. Get the other two back. Make me happy that, it doesn't matter that I missed it. Bring them back.
Tilly and I saw Blur a couple of summers ago at Wembley. Incredible show.
Really good. Super good.
Still got it.
Yeah, one of them, never seen. Probably a million opportunities to do so and just never got around to it. So, bring them back.